We've seen the ghost bikes gathering dust in the back corner, but where do they go when they vanish? The truth is a dark secret dealers are terrified to reveal. We went behind the scenes with hidden cameras to expose the floor plan trap and the brutal auctions where dream bikes die for pennies on the dollar. We reveal the desperate trading schemes in the 5 specific motorcycles rotting on showroom floors right now that dealers cannot give away. Do not buy a bike until you know the truth behind the graveyard of unsold dreams. Let's go. The ticking time bomb, the floor plan trap. To understand why a dealer panics over an unsold bike, you have to understand who actually owns it. Most riders walk into a showroom and assume that the dealership bought those bikes cash, and now they are just waiting to sell them for a profit. That is almost never the case. Dealerships do not own their inventory, they rent it. It is a financial system called floor planning, and it is the heartbeat of the auto and motorcycle industry. It is also a ticking time bomb. Here is how it works. A dealer orders 50 bikes from the manufacturer for the spring season. They don't write a check for those bikes. A bank, usually the manufacturer's own financing arm, or a massive lender like Wells Fargo, pays the factory for the bikes. The dealer then pays rent, interest to the bank for every single day that bike sits on their carpet. For the first 60 to 90 days, the manufacturer might be nice. They might subsidize this interest cost to give the dealer a chance to sell the unit. This is called the honeymoon period. During these 3 months, the dealer is relaxed. The bike is an asset, it is shiny, it represents potential profit. But the moment that clock strikes 91 days, the mood changes. The subsidy ends, the interest rate spikes. The bank starts demanding curtailments. A curtailment is a mandatory payment against the principal value of the bike. So not only is the dealer paying interest, but they are also forced to start paying off the bike itself, cash that is coming directly out of their operating budget. Suddenly, that motorcycle isn't a shiny toy. It is a parasite. It is eating the dealership's cash flow. A bike that sits for 6 months, 9 months, or, God forbid, a year, is bleeding the dealership dry. It is taking up valuable square footage that could be used for a fast-selling model. It is requiring insurance. It is requiring battery tenders. It is requiring staff to dust it. This financial panic is what drives every single decision a sales manager makes. When you see a salesman looking desperate at the end of the month, he isn't just trying to make a commission. He is trying to stop the bleeding on an aged unit that the owner is screaming about. This leads to the first and most obvious strategy, the desperate discount. They slash the price to invoice. They waive the freight fees. They waive the setup fees. They just want the bike gone so the bank stops calling. But sometimes even a discount isn't enough. Sometimes the bike is just fundamentally unlovable. Number 5. BMW R18. This brings us to our first casualty of the floor plan trap. This is a motorcycle that was hyped up to be a game changer. It was supposed to be the Harley killer. It was supposed to steal the American cruiser market from Milwaukee and bring it to Bavaria. But instead, it ended up being a beautiful, chrome-plated statue that gathers dust in corners of showrooms from California to New York. We are talking about the BMW R18. This bike is a tragedy because on paper, it is magnificent. It features the massive Big Boxer engine, a 1,802 cubic centimeter masterpiece of air and oil-cooled engineering. It looks like a jewel. It produces 91 horsepower and a gargantuan 116 foot-pounds of torque. It has an exposed drive shaft that spins in the open air, a nod to the historic BMWs of the past. The chrome quality is deeper than a mirror. The paint is flawless. The pinstriping is often done by hand. It feels like it was carved from a single block of German granite. A brand new R18 starts at roughly $18,000 for the base model, but the transcontinental touring versions with the big fairings and speakers can push $25,000 or more. That puts it squarely in competition with the Road King and the Street Glide. So why is it sitting unsold? Why are dealers terrified when the truck drops one off? Because it is an ergonomic disaster for the vast majority of American cruiser riders. The defining feature of the bike, that massive boxer engine with cylinders sticking out the sides, is also its fatal flaw. Those cylinders occupy the exact space where a cruiser rider wants to put their legs. You cannot have forward controls on an R18. You are locked into a mid-control position that cramps your hips. On a long ride, you can't stretch out, you can't move your feet. You are pinned in place by the engine. It is also heavy. We are talking nearly 800 pounds for the tourers. It is a handful at low speeds. But the real problem is the market mismatch. The typical BMW rider wants technology, performance, and cornering ability. They buy the GS or the RT. The typical cruiser rider wants the sound, the shake, and the infinite customization of a Harley-Davidson or an Indian. The R18 sits in a weird no-man's land. It is too clunky for the sport touring guys and too weird for the traditional cruiser guys. Quick pause. If you have ever seen a bike sitting at a dealership for years and wondered why nobody bought it, click that like button. It helps us expose these market secrets to more riders. The shell game. This is one of the most common, yet least understood strategies in the industry. It is the art of the dealer trade. Dealerships rarely exist in a vacuum. They are often part of larger automotive groups, or they simply have friendly relationships with other dealers of the same brand. They start trading inventory to solve each other's problems. It works like this. A dealer in Florida might have a surplus of sport bikes because the riding season is year-round and the twisty roads are far away, so nobody wants a super sport, but they are desperate for cruisers because it's bike week season. Meanwhile, a dealer in Ohio might be drowning in cruisers, but has customers begging for sport bikes for the upcoming track season. The managers make a deal. I will send you 2 R18s and a bagger if you send me 3 S1000RRs. They load the bikes onto a truck and they swap the problem children. Why do they do this? It isn't just to get the right mix. It is to reset the clock. Psychology plays a huge role in sales. If a customer visits a local dealership every month and sees the same dusty bike sitting in the same spot, that bike becomes stale. The customer assumes something is wrong with it. The salespeople get tired of looking at it and stop trying to sell it. It becomes invisible furniture. But when that bike arrives at a new dealership in a different state, it is fresh inventory. The salespeople there haven't failed to sell it 50 times yet. They are excited to have something new to show. The customers walking in haven't seen it before. To them, it just arrived. "Oh, we just got this one in," the salesman says. And technically, it isn't a lie, even if that bike has been sitting in a warehouse in Miami for a year before taking a truck ride to Ohio. It is a way to shuffle the deck chairs on the Titanic. They are hoping a change of scenery, a new demographic, and a fresh sales team will find a buyer. But sometimes even a change of scenery isn't enough, especially when the bike has a fundamental flaw that no amount of geographic relocation can fix. Number 4, Suzuki Katana. This brings us to a bike that looks incredible in photos, but consistently fails to leave the showroom floor. It appeals to nostalgia, but in the real world, it forces riders to stop more often than they want to. We are talking about the Suzuki Katana. When Suzuki revived the legendary Katana nameplate, the world got excited. The original styling from the 80s is iconic, and the new version captures that sharp, samurai sword aesthetic perfectly. It looks fast standing still. The specs are undeniable. It uses the legendary K5 engine, the same one found in the GSX S1000. It is a 1,000 cubic centimeter inline 4, making 150 horsepower. It screams. It has traction control, ABS, and Brembo brakes. It is a legitimate performance machine. The price is around $13,879. It is priced competitively against other leader-class naked bikes. So why is it a shelf warmer? The fatal flaw is the fuel tank. In order to get that sleek, sharp styling, Suzuki put a tiny 3.2-gallon tank on it. That is minuscule for a 1,000cc bike that drinks fuel. Real-world range is barely 100 miles before the light comes on. So trading the bike didn't work. The Katana is still there. The R18 is still there. The year is coming to an end. Manufacturers want to report high sales numbers to their shareholders to keep their stock price up. Dealers want to hit their volume bonuses, massive cash payouts from the factory for hitting sales targets. So what do? They punch the bike. The punch. This is industry slang for self-reporting a sale. The dealer reports the VIN number to the manufacturer as sold, but they didn't sell it to a customer. They sold it to themselves or to a shell company owned by the dealership, or they designated it as a demo or service loaner. By punching the ticket, two things happen. First, the manufacturer records a sale, so they are happy. Second, the dealer hits their volume target and gets their bonus check, which might be enough to cover the loss they are about to take on the bike. But here is the catch. The moment a bike is punched, the warranty clock starts ticking. The bike is now technically used in the eyes of the manufacturer, even if it has 0 miles on the odometer. The dealer moves it from the new inventory row to the pre-owned section. Why would they do this? Because of MAP, minimum advertised price, rules. Manufacturers have strict rules about how low a dealer can advertise the price of a new bike. They don't want to devalue the brand. But a used bike, the Wild West rules apply. A dealer can advertise a used bike for any price they want. By punching the bike, they can suddenly list that $18,000 motorcycle for $12,000 online without getting a fine from the factory. They can slash the price to the bone just to get rid of it. If you are browsing Cycle Trader and you see a current year motorcycle with 5 miles on the odometer listed as used or demo at a massive discount, you are looking at a punched bike. It is a desperate move to clear the books and stop the floor plan interest. It is a great opportunity for you as a buyer, but it is a sign of failure for the dealership. If you want to know how to spot these deals and negotiate even harder, make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel. We have guides coming on how to talk to dealers. Number 3, the S2 Del Mar. LiveWire, the spin-off brand from Harley-Davidson, was supposed to be the cool, hip, urban answer to the electric question. The S2 Del Mar was the bike that was going to bring the masses into the fold. It wasn't $40,000 like the original LiveWire one. It was supposed to be accessible. On paper, the specs are actually a riot. It creates 84 horsepower and a massive 194 foot-pounds of torque. Because it is electric, that torque is available at 0 RPM. It launches like a missile. It does 0 to 60 in 3 seconds flat. It weighs 436 pounds, which is manageable. It looks like a flat tracker. It has style. It retails for $15,499. That is not cheap, but it isn't supercar money either. So why is it the electric ghost? Why are dealers unplugging the charging stations to save electricity because nobody is test riding them? The answer is range anxiety combined with price. The city range is listed at 113 miles, which sounds fine for commuting, but the highway range at 55 miles per hour is only 70 miles. And let's be honest, who rides at 55 on the highway? If you ride at real American interstate speeds of 75 or 80 miles per hour, that battery drains faster than a cold beer on a hot day. You might get 40 or 50 miles of spirited riding before the panic sets in. Dealers were forced to install expensive charging stations to sell these bikes, investments costing tens of thousands of dollars. Now those stations sit there, unused. The bikes sit there, fully charged, collecting dust. The early adopters, the tech guys who had to have the first one, have already bought them and left the building. The average rider isn't interested. Dealers are stuck with inventory that technology is rapidly making obsolete. Every month the bike sits, battery technology gets better, making the unsold bike even less desirable. It is a depreciating asset that is depreciating faster than anything else on the floor. When the discount fails, the trade fails, and the punch fails, the dealership turns its attention inward. They start targeting their own employees. The spiff. A spiff is a special cash bonus paid directly to the salesperson for selling a specific unit. The general manager will walk into the Saturday morning sales meeting, point to the dusty LiveWire or the R18 in the corner, and say $500 cash in hand to whoever moves that bike today. Suddenly, the sales team has a new motivation. They stop showing customers the bikes they want to see and start steering them toward the spiff bike. Oh, you are looking for a cruiser? Have you considered the R18? It's German engineering. It's better than a Harley. You want a commuter? Check out this LiveWire. No gas, it's the future. They become aggressive. They push hard. If you ever feel like a salesperson is trying weirdly hard to sell you a bike that you didn't ask for, it is because there is a bounty on its head. They are trying to earn that spiff. The dealership is willing to sacrifice margin to pay the salesperson just to get the liability off the floor plan. It is internal bribery, and it happens every single weekend at dealerships across the country. I have a question for you. Would you buy an electric motorcycle with limited range just for city riding? Or does the lack of noise and gears ruin it for you? Tell me your thoughts in the comments. Number 2, the Honda XL 750. Sometimes a bike fails not because it is bad, but because it missed the mark for the specific market it was sold in. This bike is legendary in Europe, but in America it is gathering dust. It is the Honda XL 750 Transalp. Honda brought the Transalp back to the US to compete with the Yamaha Tenere 700 and the Suzuki V-Strom 800DE. It is a middleweight adventure bike, a segment that is on fire right now. The specs are solid. It features a 755 cubic centimeter parallel twin engine, making 83 horsepower. It is punchy and fun. It has electronics, ride modes, and Honda reliability. The price is attractive, $9,999. It is cheaper than the competition. So why is it sticking to the floor mats? Because Honda decontented the US version and American riders noticed. First, it comes with tube tires on spoked wheels. In 2026, adventure riders want tubeless tires for easy roadside repairs. Fixing a flat tube on a trail is a nightmare. The Suzuki V-Strom 800DE has tubes too, but it has better suspension. The Yamaha Tenere has tubes, but it has a cult following and better off-road chops. Second, no cruise control. For a bike marketed as a Transalp, literally designed to cross the Alps, omitting cruise control on a throttle-by-wire bike is a sin. Americans ride long, straight highways to get to the trails. No cruise control is a deal-breaker for many tours. Number 1, Kawasaki Eliminator. Our final hard-to-sell bike isn't a tech failure, and it isn't an ergonomic disaster. It is a victim of its own mediocrity. It isn't bad. It just isn't anything. It is the Kawasaki Eliminator. Kawasaki brought back the famous Eliminator nameplate to compete in the booming entry-level cruiser market. They wanted a piece of the pie that the Honda Rebel 500 has been eating for years. The specs are decent. It features a 451 cubic centimeter parallel twin engine derived from the Ninja 400, but stroked for more torque. It makes roughly 45 horsepower. It has a super low seat height of 28 inches, making it accessible for short riders. It looks like a modern long and low power cruiser. The new price starts at $6,649. It is affordable. So why is it rotting on floors? Because it is invisible. It is trying to compete with the Honda Rebel 500, which is an absolute icon. The Rebel has a massive aftermarket scene, a proven reputation, and a distinct look. The Eliminator looks generic. It looks like a cruiser designed by a committee. Dealers tell us these bikes get test-ridden constantly because they are unintimidating. But the customer usually walks away. They either buy a used Harley Sportster because they want the real thing, or they buy the Rebel because their friends have one. The Eliminator is the bike that answers a question nobody asked. It is a perfectly adequate motorcycle that fails to ignite any passion. And in the motorcycle world, lack of passion is a death sentence. The nuclear option, the auction block. So the bike didn't sell new. It didn't sell as a trade. It didn't sell as a punched demo. The discount didn't work. The spiff didn't work. The bike is now a year old, maybe 2. The dealer is losing money every single day it sits there. The tires are getting flat spots. The battery is dead. The seals are drying out. What is the final destination? The end of the line? The auction. The dealer finally accepts defeat. They call a massive transport truck. They load the dead stock onto the trailer. The R18s, the LiveWires, the Katanas, the Transalps. These bikes are shipped to massive wholesale auctions like National Powersport Auction. This is not eBay. This is a dealer-only club. It is a meat market for motorcycles. The bikes are lined up in endless rows in massive warehouses in places like Cincinnati, Dallas, and San Diego. Dealers from all over the world log in or show up in person to bid. Here is the shocking part. The dealer sending the bike usually takes a massive loss. They might sell that $18,000 BMW for $12,000. They might let the LiveWire go for $8,000. They just want the cash back to pay off the bank and stop the interest payments. They are cauterizing the wound. And the darkest fate of all, if a bike is truly unloved, if the bid is low enough, it is bought for parts. Yes, brand new motorcycles with 0 miles are sometimes bought by salvage yards. They strip them down. The engine is worth money. The electronics are worth money. The wheels are worth money. The sum of the parts is worth more than the whole bike. It is a tragic end for a machine designed to bring joy, disassembled before it ever saw a sunset. Next time you see that dusty bike in the corner, the one with the faded tag and the dead battery, remember, it isn't just a motorcycle, it is a financial hostage. It is a mistake waiting to be corrected. And if you play your cards right, you can be the one to rescue it for a fraction of the price. If you want to know which used bikes are the best bargains at these auctions, click this video right here. We break down the models that are selling for pennies on the dollar. And before you go, don't forget to click that like button, subscribe, and ride safe.